Trade vlog April 21, 2023. Hope you'll find this useful. Gonna get into some deep concepts in this video. So, big picture, here's something really interesting. In 2020 to 2021, I made an unrealized P&L $400,000 off of a $200,000 capital. So I had 200% return. Now I didn't keep all that, but I kept a lot of it, and I ended up giving back a lot of it later on. How did I make that money? So the actual actions that I was doing was just buying and not selling. And yeah, this was a crazy time. A lot of people did quite well, but what was interesting about this money is that I wasn't trading in and out. I held through major drawdown. And what I was trading was fundamentals, I was trading news, and I was trading a monthly and a yearly chart, okay? And what's key here is I was doing it while working a full-time job. I was doing that while working a full-time job. It didn't take me a lot of time to do this. My job, I got food, housing, and like $20,000 a year, less, around $20,000 a year, food, housing, and $20,000 a year. And I made, which was equivalent here to maybe $50,000. So I made like 10 salaries in a year in my part-time, outside of working full-time. Crazy, right? Well, the point that I want to get across from a couple things here is that the connection between how much money you make in the market and the amount of time you spend, there's no connection. There's zero connection. There is zero connection to how much time you spend in the market, or rather how much time you spend trading and how much money you make. There's definitely zero connection. To make $400,000 part-time, done it before, I can do it again. It won't be the same strategy, won't be the same environment, but can do it again. Now, from 2021 to 2023, I gave back basically all of that, okay? I gave it back from holding too long, not claiming the profit. I gave it back from just unprofitable trading. But you know what's interesting? What's interesting is this time period where I made $400,000 profit, and I was working full-time, and I spent very little time. I've been trading full time and losing money, right? So again, there's zero connection to how much time you spend to how much money you make. Zero connection. In fact, I believe it's actually inverse. If you spend too much time, you will lose more. If you spend a little time, you will make more. Also in this, I wasn't trading daily charts. I was trading the 1 hour, I was trading the 5 minute, I'm on the 1 minute, right? So, an analogy, a metaphor I want to give. Tonight, I was hanging out at the park by the beach, and a friend, an old uncle, he has this giant shell that he's playing like a trumpet. And he has two of them, he hands me one, and I'm trying so hard to make a sound. And the harder I blow, the less happens. And he tells me you need to relax, and you need to breathe and blow gently. So I'm able to figure out how to make a sound by like just blowing as gently as possible. And it makes this huge, massive sound, right? This huge sound by blowing very gently. And that's like trading. It's like in a lot of things in life, the harder you try, the more it's not going to work. The more gentle you are and just sort of let it happen, the better result you can have. Although this is unique of trading and not a lot of other things. Although arguably it is true of a lot of things. But in a lot of things, like you can just hustle. Like if I want to make more money in my magic business, I just do more posts, I do more ads, I do more YouTube videos, I do more sales, I do more work, there's some action that I can take, right? That's how a lot of things is. Like if I want to be an athlete, I can do another workout. I can get more shots up. I can do more practice. I could practice my skills. I could do more weights. I could stretch more, whatever it is. There's a lot of things in this world, in this life, that your success is based directly on how much time you put in. And our jobs, oftentimes our jobs, if not salaried, are paid hourly. The more hours you work, the more you get paid. Trading is not like that. There's no connection. There's no relationship. There's no relationship between how much time you spend and how much money you make. There's no relationship. Okay? So I'm going to write that on here. Now, this is important. Trading has no relationship between time spent and money made. I'll even go far to say that it's inverse. Possibly. But it's about the quality of decisions you make. It's not about how much time you spend. Trading has no or an inverse relationship, possibly inverse, between time spent and money made. Okay? So, how do you make the most money trading? My feeling, my opinion, how have I made the most money trading? How did I make the most money trading 2021? And how was I profitable at the end of 2022 as well? I had 4 months. I had a month I made $40,000. The next month I made $16,000. A prior month I made $4,000. How did I make money? I was trading the daily chart. Trading the daily and weekly chart only. Now, the other unprofitable times I've been trading lower time frames. Now, when you're trading the daily and weekly chart, there's a couple things to keep in mind. The first is that it takes days and weeks to show a profit. It's delayed gratification. It's not going to happen in 5 minutes. You might go and show a profit in 5 minutes, you might show a loss in 5 minutes. But typically, if you're trading the daily chart, you expect it to take days, possibly, to hit your target. Or at least a day before you have something to show for it. Now, trading the daily and weekly chart is much more accurate. And there's also the opportunity to make a lot more money because of trends. The daily chart and the weekly chart, like if you're in a strong, bullish environment, it's quite hard for a price to come and like take out the previous week's low. It might happen, but that's also a buying opportunity. If we're in a really strong bearish environment, it's hard to make a new monthly high, right? But if you're trading the 5 minute and we're in a downtrend, it's not hard to make a new high on the 5 minute. If you're trading an uptrend on the 5 minute, it's not hard to make a new low on the 5 minute and just continue up, right? The signals on the low time frame are super inaccurate, and it's possible to lose a lot of money very quickly, spend a lot of money on commissions, stress yourself out, and just lose a lot of money. So the goal here is to trade the daily and weekly. Now, what's also interesting is when the daily close is at 2 p.m. Hawaii time. Okay? So if I'm trading the daily chart, let me ask you, the viewer, if I'm either putting a trade on or not putting a trade on at 2 p.m. Actually, let's back up before this question. Here's some big picture stuff. It's not about being more disciplined. It's not about being more patient. Those things are a part of it. It's about trading higher time frames and allowing it to play out. That's what it's about. Having conviction and putting your money to work too, but having higher time frame ideas. Okay, now back to this question. If the close is at 2 p.m. Hawaii time, and I'm either going to put a trade on or not right at 2 p.m., in your opinion, when should I log on and start my work? My answer is probably around 1 p.m. It gives me an hour to prepare. I can look at the monthly chart, I can look at the weekly chart, I can look at the daily chart, I can look at trend lines, I can look at liquidity, I can look at exchange flows, I can check for news, and I can check the low time frame of the past 24 hours, how it played out. And I can do that for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it shouldn't take more than an hour. And I set my trade, and can be done for the day. Now, so here's what's really interesting. I made $400,000 while working full time, right? And I lost $400,000 while trading full time. Inverse relationship between time spent and money made. Now, I'm supposed to be trading a daily and weekly chart. The weekly chart closes Sunday at 2 p.m. This is when the new one opens. The daily closes at 2 p.m. Here I am, my schedule Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is to start trading at around 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. Why? It's 4.5, 5 hours before. What am I going to do? I'm supposed to sit there and stare at the chart? And this is something that's supposed to improve my life. It's something that's supposed to make me experience more freedom. And I'm sitting here, it's not time to trade, and I'm trying to not trade. And guess what I'm doing? I'm trading. I had 7 early trade errors this month. There's 21 days. 7 errors. 7 times this month. 5 times I entered around too early, between 9 and noon. 2 times I closed too early. 7 times out of 21 days. Now, midway through the month, I'm like, man, I need to be more patient. Like, I need to wait for the close. I need to be more disciplined. No, I need to reschedule, go back to work, do something so that I'm not, like, there's no reason to trade until 1 p.m. There's no reason to trade, right? That's my session, that's my time zone, it's the daily chart. Daily closes at 2. Why am I on at 9? There's no advantage to that. It's detrimental. Why am I on at 10? Why am I on at 11? 12 might be okay. Now we have 2 hours. The candle at 12 is, you have 22 out of 24 hours formed. It's almost complete, but 7 early errors, all 7 cost me money. 2 of them I closed because price was reacting on a lower time frame. And I zoom out and even look in the hourly and it looks like nothing even happened. And I thought I was rejecting, right? The daily, you can't see anything, right? Just continued on. 5 times I entered a trade and I either got shaken out because I didn't believe in it and it went against me, or the signal changed. I thought I was saying one thing and I was saying something else and it turned on me. So my solution, this is the first problem. Here's my plan. Like, this is really, really deep, broad stuff where it's not like, oh, I need to be more disciplined. I need to have schedule. And I'm going to write out my schedule here actually now. So this is only a problem Monday through Thursday, because Friday and Saturday I work in the mornings. Sunday I have dog training in the mornings. But I just need to make sure I have something in the mornings and I don't come on until 1 p.m. And that's how I made $400,000 in a year and a half. Obviously the environment was conducive and friendly to it, but it is from, it has nothing to do with how much time I'm spending. It has to do with trading the daily and weekly chart and making sure I'm doing that and staying busy otherwise so I don't do dumb shit, right? So here's my schedule when I'm making my schedule, roughly. Monday through Thursday. Let's use this other pen. Monday through Thursday. Okay, Saturday, Sunday is not a problem. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 7:30 is my wake. Okay, and I drink water, I use the bathroom, I journal. I step outside, I get some sun in my eyes. 8 to 9 roughly, walk dog, and swim. Now, keep in mind, the close is at 2. I'm placing trades at 2, right? 1 is, I'm going to analyze charts at 1, okay? By the way, my experience making $400,000 working full time, Nicholas Darvis made millions of dollars from 40 grand in a couple of years while dancing as a profession, while only trading the daily chart, while only getting information after the day closed. I want to get my information as the day closed and act right after the day closes. Okay? So what am I going to do between 8 and 2? 9 and 2. So what it had been, this is what I had been, is 9 to 1, watch charts, and try not to trade. And keep in mind I have 7 errors this month. Only 7 times I did something too early. This is retarded. This is moronic. This is incredibly dumb. I'm not a dumb person, I'm a smart person, but what I'm doing here is stupid. That if I'm supposed to place trades at 2, and I'm sitting here for hours, wasting my fucking life, and trying not to trade, and setting myself up to failure, wasting my time and my money, no, let's not do that. So, I have a couple options. This is something I'm doing, but 9 to 9:30 is a light exercise. This is when I lift weights in the yard, stretch, chew athletic gum, mastic gum. Now, what it's going to be is, so it's going to be 9:30 to, let's say, I'm going to wipe this one off, 9:30. Now, if there's surf, I'm going to surf. 9:30, it's to, let's say 11:30. Let's say 11. If there's surf, I'm going to surf. Or, I'm going to work at the farm and go to the gym. To maybe 9:30 to 11:30. So I have 2 hours here. Okay? So I want to live the best life I can. Obviously I want to make money, and working on the farm is a way to do that. I'm not going to make a lot of money doing that, but I'm working outside. It's social. It's something I can start doing on Monday, right? I can go back to this. And I like that. It's a nice life. I like doing that. Surf as well, like that's so much fun and it can be social. Going to the gym, also healthy and social. And I do this, like my routine up to here, incredibly healthy, right? And that's what I want. It's like, if I have unlimited time and money, what do I want? Like I want to make my body amazing, so healthy, right? So aesthetic, but really just about being healthy and feeling good and experiencing the environment and being social and so on. So that's the gift that I'm being given by trading. I want to take advantage of that to the fullest. I don't want to sit here on the charts. Now, from 12 to 1, this is when I'm going to eat lunch. Okay? Then 1 to 2:30. This is my trading. So this is perfect because this is right around the daily close. And if I stick to this schedule, and I'm sure that I can, there's no reason to, like, I'm busy, I'm not going to trade, right? I'm not going to enter any trade. And I've come a long way from when I started short-term trading or shorter-term trading, or rather like trading with the intention to sell. I was up at 5 a.m. entering trades on my phone on the 5-minute chart and looking at them at work and stressing over it and being in trades all fucking day. You know, hundreds of trades a year. I took 300 trades. I took crazy amount of trades, right? And I'm slowly have come back, like I don't trade on my phone anymore. I don't look at charts on my phone. I've been really good about that. For whatever reason, that's easy. I don't trade at night anymore. The next thing to eliminate is trading in the morning. And here, just trading the daily chart. It's not always going to work, but it's going to work a lot better. And it's going to improve the quality of my life considerably because I don't need to spend all day on it. But this is an extremely important part of my day and I need to protect it. part of me is like, I want to trade in the morning because that's when I'm going to be sharpest. And after I've already done this and I've eaten lunch, I'm going to be sleepy and is now the time to trade? Well, that's true, but this is the time because that's when the daily candle is. And based on my results, all my profitability has been coming from trading the daily chart and the weekly chart, and all my losses have come from trading a lower time frame. So results don't lie. Again, 7 times I did something early this month, 7 times I lost money. And it's like, oh man, I keep burning my fucking hand. I keep burning my hand. Well, it's because I keep sitting down in front of the stove and saying, don't touch for 5 hours, but you can watch. It's retarded. So we're fixing it by changing my schedule. Change my schedule. Okay. Now, wait, it's not done yet. So, between the commute, whatever, I'll spend an hour and a half. So maybe from 3 to 4:15, I'll go back to work on the farm. And then at 5:30, Tuesday and Thursday I have b-ball, and Wednesday I have magic. Monday I go for a walk on the beach, or I grill with friends. Dinner is around 8. It's a late dinner, I know. 9, I'm just gonna chill on my phone for an hour. I don't feel bad about that. 10, sleep. Dinner, I'll listen to a podcast, and also during lunch. 10's more like read. Also journaling, lots of journaling, especially in the commute. Sleep's maybe like 11, go to bed. I'm in bed for 8.5, 9 hours. I get 8 hours of sleep, something like that. Okay, so that's my plan. That's what I'm starting on Monday. Because I like my life, and I want to keep the freedom that I have. I also want to make my life more interesting. I also want to make a lot of money, and in order to make a lot of money, it has nothing to do with how much time I spend. It's actually the opposite. It's inversely. I need to step back, step away from the low time frame, just trade the daily. So a second problem that I have is there's 3 problems. That was the first problem, and I have a solution for that, and I'm happy about that. Groupthink. This shit is deep, right? It's not the same things you always hear. So groupthink is where someone else is making a trade and you follow them, whether it's alert service and it's a loser, you don't execute it well, you rush into unplanned trades. So Twitter, Discord, and I've been having the problem this week of just messaging. There's one guy I messaged back and forth with about trades, and yesterday together we went long on Bitcoin, and this was another really small brain maneuver where it was just a huge red candle breaking a diagonal trend line, and it's not very smart. So small brain. This one, like, I've eliminated Twitter and I've eliminated Discord, and I'm not on YouTube watching trade ideas. I listen to interviews, and then I told this guy again, like, yo, let's not talk positions. It's not good, and he agrees with me. So groupthink is removing that's really good, but groupthink causes FOMO. It causes oversizing or taking on too many risks, too many positions. It's just bad, or taking trades you shouldn't take. So the last thing is, and by the way, like, it's only over trading because I'm trading bad. Like, those 7 times, if I picked the right direction, right, I'd feel totally different about it. So I still want to trade, like, I want to take trades, but I want them to be in the right direction. That's waiting for the daily chart. So let's talk about the system a little bit. So We have weekly. Okay, it's on Bitcoin and ETH. We have weekly, we have monthly, we have daily, and then I'm looking at the most recent 12-hour. That's the lowest time frame I will go to. I'm looking at candle color. I'm looking at wicks versus body. I'm also looking at high time frame trend line. This trend line needs to have at least 3 bounces on a weekly, and it needs to go back at least over a month. I'm looking at major liquidations, liquidity pools. I'm looking at news. I'm looking at macro, and I'm looking at exchange flows, because a lot of coins come into exchange before big sell-offs. So it's a lot of things, but it's not really that much. Like, it takes an hour or less. It takes 30 minutes. It doesn't take very long. And it's only for Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is where I have an edge. I'm not interested in trading. That's where I have an edge. I've tried Forex, and an edge could be developed there, but I don't seem to have it. And then stocks, I have 2 problems with stocks. The first one is gap risk, where if it shuts down, and I like having a large concentrated position in one asset, I cannot trade gap risk. And that's the main reason, but the second reason is also, unless you're just day trading the same names, it requires a lot of research on different names, and not just, research of looking into what the thing is, and that's more work than I want to do. Sorry, I don't want to spend all the time on that. So that is my system. I'm gonna talk a little bit about like what makes an A+ system, but what I'm looking at, there's a couple things. Like, say we're in an uptrend. I'm looking for evening stars where I'm gonna go short. Like, it's fucking so easy on the daily. It's such an obvious and good signal that works. And a lot of the times, this level gets swept multiple times, but yeah. And then I'm looking for, on the way down, okay, say we do have that sell-off. I'm looking for a big hammer candle. Right. Now, there's other versions of this where we have an uptrend and then maybe it has a big wick but doesn't change color, which still might be okay. Right, we're in a downtrend and we have a red candle, but it has a big wick. Or maybe there's a green candle. Yeah, like long the first green candle, short the first red candle after it's been running a long time. Paying attention to that. So that's the first signal, is I'm looking for it to get higher than the previous high or lower than the previous low and close under. And that can predate some pretty large market moves. Something like that. And yeah, I want to trade those with size when they happen. There's a lot of money to be made just from trading those daily candles. A green hammer candle at the bottom after a downtrend, or a shooting star at the top after an uptrend. The other is in a trend, just looking at yesterday's candle. Did this candle close higher than the previous day? It's not unreasonable to just jump in along there until you have a reason to exit. Same with red. If we're red and we're just going down, it's not unreasonable to just jump in at the daily and wait for a signal that indicates price is going to move in the opposite direction. Because rarely on the daily chart, it happens, but rarely on the daily chart does it just abruptly turn around and like go way higher. Usually it takes a while to turn, it rounds. There's or there's a signal that happens that tells you to get out and pivot. Usually. This doesn't happen on the 5-minute, where it can just reverse fast with a big wick in 5 minutes, Oftentimes it takes days for a major reversal. It sweeps the low multiple times, sweeps the high multiple times. So entering a trend is totally reasonable. Now, the other thing that I'm paying attention to, which can overrule these trends, is when we have a 1 support, 2 support, okay? When we have a, so there's two ideas here. Say this is a daily chart, and this is this month, this is last month, this is the previous month, this is the month before, okay? So we can say we're in an uptrend, we're looking at longs, right? But as soon as this happens, there's such a good opportunity to go short here for major downside. And you could zoom in onto even the daily in a lower time frame here, and it looks like we're sweeping these lows, and it looks like long signals. But this major high time frame break is massively significant. Now, it's also true when we're in a pretty big downtrend and we retest it, and we retest it, right? The moment price is hanging out right here, and I might hang out there for days, and I might sweep the highs and show signs of reversing. Doesn't matter. It's a huge long, it's a really good long opportunity, asymmetric risk, right? Typically what I'm doing is I'm setting my stop at the low of that day or at the high of that day, because if we go higher, I was wrong. If we go lower, I was wrong. And then whatever it wants to do on the 5 minute, it can do, right? So one other concept here, which is important, is liquidity. So there's liquidity under here. There's liquidity under here, right? There's liquidations above all of these. And if price comes down right here and starts to show some strength, I'm still paranoid about a long here until it takes this low right here. And then maybe we can reverse. If we take this low here, then maybe we can reverse too for a long, right? I'm interested in playing both ways because it's sharp and erratic in both ways. And I want to trade these turns, and I want to trade the sharp moves up, and I want to trade the sharp moves down. But paying attention where we are on the trend line and where we are in terms of the high time frame liquidity. Trading towards it, not away from it. Or you can trade away from it if we're very far from it, but if we're near it, expect it to be hit. Expect it to be hit. Right? If we're stall right under it, trade up to it. Okay? So that's the basics of my technical system. It's not really hard. What's hard to do is to not do any of the other stuff. And it's really hard to not to do any of the other stuff if I'm sitting at the chart and trying not to do anything, watching it on the 5 minute, right? So it's important that I make my life extremely busy so I can do this. Now, there's the last thing, so news. News can be interesting where, like, banks printing money is good for Bitcoin. Ethereum having an update is typically good for Ethereum. And that can be tie-in with exchange flows where after the FTX dip, massive amount of coins left exchanges. It marked the bottom. Or recently, after Ethereum's update, a huge amount of Ethereum came onto exchanges and it marked a top. So that's something I want to pay attention to. These two things in conjunction gives a thesis. And then obviously the macro of, okay, what's happening right now is, well, they're still raising rates, but they're slowing. It's turning. Inflation's coming down. So we have some reason to be bullish, have a bullish thesis, right? So, a problem is just my system being, my system's good, and I think the biggest problem by far has just been my scheduling. Now that I'm looking back on it, of like having, again, the first thing we established is that there's zero connection between how much time you spend trading and how much money you make trading. And based on my own results, it's actually inverse. And my schedule is and has been absolutely fucked for trading, where I have time to trade all the time and I'm trading all the time and I should not trade all the time. It's possible I can take a trade every day, but it should only be off the daily chart. And the daily candle closes at 2 p.m. I should not be online ready to trade until 1 p.m. 12 is early, maybe acceptable. 9 is just setting myself up for failure, where I'm supposed to sit there and watch and do nothing for 5 hours. No. So I'm rescheduling my life, and I'm not saying that's going to fix everything, but I think that is really going to improve things dramatically. And we'll see how I stick to it. I'm interested to see myself, interested for what challenges might come from this, but Monday I'm walking the dog, and I'm going to go to the farm, and I'll be back at I'll probably, it's super fucking hot out, so I'll probably take a swim like a lot more. Like, I'm lucky to have a pond I can jump in right here. I'll probably just jump in a lot more. And it's really important for me to make money trading. Like, it's super important. But it's so funny and weird that, okay, well, if I want to make money trading, I need to trade less. I need to, well, not trade less, but be available to trade less. I need to trade my specific hours of when I'm encouraged and supposed to enter and avoid the other hours. And I need to schedule other things with my life. And that's going to make my life better. The worst part of my days by far is when I'm in a losing trade in the morning and I'm staring at the price action in the low time frame and I'm like, what the fuck? I love myself. Why am I doing this to myself? So, that's the game plan. I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to next month. I'm looking forward to making a lot of fucking money in these markets and to do it with working a very small amount of time. But that does not mean it's easy. It's been a long journey to here, and it's a long journey ahead. But I'm getting a lot closer to where I need to be. So, peace, and let's get it. Much love.